Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Nova Nihongo podcast. I'm your host Tanner, and today we have a special guest. This is my friend Michelle. She's an avid language learner and studier just like we are. So, Michelle, how about you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone. So like Tanner said, my name is Michelle. I'm from Italy. I'm Italian 100%, and I have studied Japanese at university as well. I also graduated in English, so I studied both of this language at a very high academic level. I also speak Spanish, French, a little bit of German, Korean, and Chinese. I like dabbling a little bit over here and over there. And so yeah, I'm I think that when this episode will come out, I think I will be 28. So yeah.
Probably.
And yeah, a birthday girl, like not next week, but the other. So yeah. So
Happy
yeah.
birthday, tanto bio merito.
ありがとうございました。
Yay, love that.
And so yeah, thank you, Tanner, for having me. Actually, this is such a good opportunity, and have a chat with a Japanese avid friend is always nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming. So today we're going to be talking about probably not a difficult topic, but a very relatable topic. We're going to be talking about language, motivation, and burnout today because that's very real. So when we see things on Instagram or YouTube or any of these other social media things, some people make it out to be like language learning is just the greatest thing ever and there's nothing wrong with it and there's no issues and there's no problems. It's all just a honeymoon phase the whole time. There's no issues. I love language learning, but sometimes I hate it. Sometimes I'm tired and I don't want to do it. So that's just how it works. There are just some things that you need to take a break. You need to walk away for a second and then come back to it so you don't burn out, exhaust yourself, or lose the joy that you actually have. So I know both of us have a lot of experience with burnout. I
Yeah.
am very much a overachiever. I put too much on myself and then I'm like, why am I so exhausted? And I talk to my mother and she's like, how many languages are you doing on top of your day job and your other jobs and all this other stuff? And I'm like, well, about that. So I'm like, thanks, mom. Anyway, my mom definitely listens to this podcast. So hi, Jennifer. We love Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
She's going to laugh at me. She'll be like, what are you doing? Anyway, so Michelle, tell us about your experience in university and afterwards and just being the queens of burnout that we are.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you know anything about Italian education system, but just a little bit of a brief introduction. Basically, we are used to studying languages since we are very young because, of course, we're not English native speakers. And since we go now, I think kindergarten as well. Sometimes they start doing really simple things, but in my experience, it was like very early 2000s. We started in elementary school learning English for a total of 5 years. Then we go to middle school for 3 years. English is mandatory all the freaking time. And luckily, because I freaking loved it, I fell in love with the English language when I was in middle school. And then we usually add a second language, which can vary. Usually, the most popular choices are Spanish, French, and German. I was in a school where we were all obliged to study French. So I also studied French for 3 years. And over there, I already started having issues with the motivations because final year of middle school, yeah, I was talking about middle school. I had a new teacher for French, but she was not like the other one I had. So basically, I lost all motivation, and that's why I decided to switch language when I started high school. And I went to a specific high school. We actually choose some kind of themed high school, and I
Hmm,
went to linguistics slash commercial economic kind of school, like technical school,
interesting.
where we make. Yeah, that's pretty cool actually. It stresses you a little bit in order to understand already what you want to do in your life. So there are pros and cons, of course, with
That makes sense.
everything. Yeah, with choices. And what I love the most about this kind of school is that I learned the basics to work in any kind of company, like commercial stuff, coffee stuff. So I could basically work anywhere just to learn a job and mixing the languages.
Nice.
So yeah, and over there I studied English for 5 years, Spanish for 5 years, and German for three. German was a complete disaster.
Get that.
And yeah, I gave up on language, to be honest. And I find German more difficult than Japanese, so that makes people laugh most
I
of the times.
totally agree. I'm with you. Good
Yeah, I
Lord.
don't know what happens with that grammar. I don't know. I just don't. My brain doesn't work with cases, I think. That's the
Too.
thing. That's the issue. So yeah, and after that, basically, I graduated both bachelor and master's degree in English and Japanese. And though Japanese is my favorite language of all time, I still suck at it. I lost a lot of motivation after graduating because the system obliges you, forces you to, in a way that is not natural to me. And so I thought maybe I am the problem and not the system. So I started thinking that I was the problem with Japanese because I was seeing everyone around me also on Instagram. That's the truth. I used to compare myself a lot, which is wrong. Guys, don't compare yourself to others, okay? But you. But yeah, that's the main problem because, everyone just comes from different experiences and different things also come into their lives and stuff like that. So I always tell something like this also to myself to remind me that it's okay that I'm still not fluent in Japanese even after this long time, because when you try into something that is not 100% under your control, and basically nothing is under your control because you cannot control your health, you cannot control what is happening around you with your family situation, or maybe with the world situation,
Yeah.
which might impact you on certain levels. It's okay that things don't go how you want to, because you don't have to control. The important thing is that you put the maximum effort you can to be satisfied. If there are external forces that come into play and you cannot control them, and I really cannot, not try, cannot control them, it's okay. Just shogunai.
Show that.
Japanese, all this expression, Japanese have one word, shogunai. And I simply love this concept. So even though I still try and learn Japanese, shogunai. I do whatever I can whenever I want to. I just don't want to hurt myself for now.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love it. Yeah, there are so many things that come into play, your health, your job, or jobs plural, anything that you can't control. Sometimes, like, I know I'm guilty of that, and I know other people can too, but even though there are a lot of things that you can't control, I still beat myself up over it. I'm like, oh, I should have done this, or I should have done this better, or I'm not doing enough of this, or whatever. But like, it really doesn't matter all that much. Like, if you don't get to study one day, don't beat yourself up over it. Take a break if you need to. Like, that's just all there is to it. Like, language learning is supposed to be something fun and to connect with other people, connect with other cultures. I'm obviously guilty of it, but I sometimes take it too seriously to the point of exhausting myself. So, and I know you understand that too, for sure.
Yeah,
Japanese, 100% is also my favorite language. So I love that we agree. And definitely, it's so much harder than Japanese. German's crazy. It's wild. I've had to take a break on it lately because I'm just like, why can't I process this? I don't think I'm good with cases. So I've looked at that for German and Russian and I'm like, oh, we're going to take a break. But now I'm focusing a little bit more. I'm going back to just my Asian languages in general, other than Portuguese, because I'm never going to drop that. I love Portuguese. But I'm going to Korean and Indonesian right now. I'm just like, okay, let's just focus on the Asian languages, patterns that I'm comfortable and familiar with. I'm starting to pick up on Korean now, and people that have followed me for a while know that I've had a mental block with Korean for a good year and a half, 2 years maybe, and I'm like, why can't I understand this? But it took me, I locked in for 2-ish weeks on Korean, and then I took another break, and then now I'm coming back to it, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is making more sense now. So maybe a break is what you need to do when all this craziness is happening, you know?
yeah. Also, I think that when people will learn Japanese or learning Korean, what might be difficult at first, I think it's the lack of kanji.
Yeah, I can get that. Because you're used to all the complicated writing systems of Japanese, and then Hangul is pretty simple, and you're like, wait a second.
Yeah, but also because even though it's extremely complicated to master of kanji, once you get to know them, it makes everything so logical. Having a language that basically works the same way, because grammar wise, they work the same way,
Hmm.
Korean and Japanese. It's very tough actually to have the same kind of language. Of course, they're different languages, but they work similarly, but without an element that is crucial to understand Japanese. Because if you try and learn Japanese without knowing the kanji, you don't understand anything.
Hmm. Yeah. I see people online looking into like they're learning Japanese, but they're only learning Romanji. And I'm like, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Because you're not going to understand the language as the language itself. You're just going to always compare it to English or whatever your native language is. That
Hmm.
it's not going to work. So we're going to talk more about that in a later episode of just how to learn Japanese, not in a terrible way. I don't want to say the right way because there's a lot of other ways to learn it, but I'm like, what not to do. There you go. That's what we'll call it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I wanted to ask, do you study every day?
Nope, not at all.
Me neither. Exactly. So, obviously, I knew that answer. But the idea is you don't have to study every day. You don't have to study for hours on end to learn a language. A little bit here and there. You can maybe try to do every day, but like, it's not going to work every single time. Things will come up.
No. Yeah. I was looking at the pile on my table on my desk and trying to remember the last time I actually touched a notebook, and I think it was almost 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I have to tell the truth. But the thing is, of course, if you care more about progress, you should have a proper learning routine that might implicate, learning every single day. But once you get to a phase in life where priorities are others, you will understand that sometimes you have to let things go. And so, Shogunai, sometimes you won't be able to study for a very long time, like in the way you intend to study. But for me, at least, keep in touch with Japanese every single day.
Hmm.
That's what matters the most to me. It's to not lose the contact and the love with this language. I think I found myself closer actually to how I used to study Japanese before going to university, because during summer breaks I used to study a little bit over here and over there with the very few resources that were available at the time online in Italian to learn Japanese. So I think that now, like after the full circle of academia, I find myself more into with the teenage Michelle that was looking at lyrics, was looking at some anime scenes and was repeating them all over again when something like was new. And so that's what I do every single day. I listen to J music, I watch anime, of course, in Japanese. Even though Italian anime dubbing industry is really good, I think we are just right behind Japanese in terms of quality. But I prefer listening to the original version. And since I usually watch them with my boyfriend, he picks up Japanese pretty randomly but very fluently. Sometimes he speaks very randomly to me in Japanese. When did you learn that? We always watch with Italian subtitles in order for him to understand, and also for me to make the connections. Sometimes you don't have to go full Japanese, okay, to study. I want to explain that you have to keep calm, especially the Japanese community, learning community online has to keep
I
freaking
get it.
calm, because there is no right way to learn. Everyone has their own lives. So don't be a purist, because purists, we don't like them.
No, we don't.
You just look like can I say swear words?
Go ahead.
An asshole.
Period.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't study every day. The main um tactic is to keep in touch with Japanese every day. That's how
Yeah.
I like to call it.
Yeah, I love that. I do that too. I do that for Japanese and Korean because I love J-pop and K-pop and all of that. So I'll listen to that just about every day. And lately, like as I study, like Japanese has gotten a lot easier over the years, but like as I study for Korean, especially since it's a more beginner language, I will listen to certain songs and whatever, and I'm just like, wait a minute, I kind of recognize that word. And then I'll like go into Apple Music. They have a new feature in there now where it's like they have the actual Hangul, but then they have the pronunciations under it, which like I can read Hangul, so it's okay, but that's helpful for new kanji if it's in Japanese. So I'm like, ooh, that's
Mhm.
great. But yeah, it's really cool. So like I'll go into the lyrics part of Apple Music and I'll see like what word it was or how to actually pronounce it correctly or whatever. Because sometimes, and a lot of K-pop fans know this, it's a song you've listened to so many times, but you don't fully know how to say it correctly. But like until you actually look it up and you're like, oh, okay, I was saying that wrong. So they call it like what is it? It's like K-pop knees or I don't remember. It's like it's a type of K-pop language. Somebody will correct me in the comments,
Oh,
but yeah, it's funny. So I'm trying to get away from that. I'm like, no, I need to say it actually correctly. So now I'm
okay.
starting to learn how to rap Stray Kids songs, which I have an obsession.
Basically impossible.
Right? Changbin's crazy. This man is wild. I don't know how he raps like that.
I've been out of the K-pop game for a very long time because I was more a fan of second and third generation, maybe third. And I think that production got a little bit meh compared to before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not very that much updated, but I used to be a fan of Stray Kids in 80s, like around 2021, 2022, like kind of combined with that.
Mhm.
And oh my gosh, like keeping up with Stray Kids, anyone actually at the Stray Russia rapping is like impossible.
They're crazy. Three Racha is wild. I love them so much. They're so great.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, Stray Kids is my old, and then I also love ATs. But I have started to get into a little bit of older K-pop. Like I've loved Big Bang for a while, but I'm starting to listen to Shiny, which is wild. Like yesterday morning, I was blasting Shiny for a minute. I'm like, this is great. So I'm starting to get in,
Yeah.
working
Yeah,
on it.
I used to be, yeah, I was in that K-pop era. So do you understand why I stepped away a little bit? Because the production is way too similar, I think, to Western music, but I think that also entering into Japanese market as well, because Japanese market is actually merging with Korean market in terms of, agencies. But they're losing a little bit of their peculiar elements, in my opinion, compared to what you mentioned before, so like Shiny, Super Junior, First Generation, 21, Big Bang.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts. That's an After Dark episode, but like, I have a lot of K-pop thoughts.
Well, I'm more of a J rock girly, actually.
Oh, all right.
So yeah.
I like that.
If you ever want to do like a musical exchange, hit me up.
100% I will. Yeah, I've been loving some J-pop and it's been a really great way for me to study and learn some different like not necessarily different words per se because I already know a lot of the words, but like different ways of them saying it that's not textbook versus actual Japanese. So that's been really cool. I've been listening to this group called Phantom Sita. It's like a dark J-pop group. It's similar to baby metal, but not quite as rock heavy. It's just more dark fantasy, I guess. It's really cool. But I've been enjoying their stuff and I'm learning through, the Apple Music lyrics and everything how they're saying things. They say it differently and they rearrange it a little bit for the music and for the rhythm. So I'm like, this is interesting. So it's a way to study and experience it.
I've never heard of them, so that's why you saw me typing because I was looking them up on Spotify. And I will try and listen to them later. So thank you for the recommendation.
Yeah, definitely. I really like them. They're really cool. So yeah. So I definitely want to talk about you mentioned it earlier, but we're gonna talk about it a little bit more. Comparing ourselves to other polyglots. Cause it
Oh
gets
gosh.
intimidating sometimes. But then at the same time, this is another After Dark episode that's coming, but I get tired of some of the YouTube polyglots because they're like, I'm fluent in Spanish in 7 days. And I'm like, don't talk to me. Absolutely don't talk to me. If you're going to claim that you're
Same.
fluent, yes. If you're going to claim that you're fluent in something in 7, 14, even 30 days, whatever, do not talk to me. Because that's just clickbait. That's rage bait. It's not true. It's not possible.
Yeah, it would be so much better to just be honest and change the wording of titles. So like, this is what I can learn in 30 days.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult. But the thing is, for the marketing sake, for the strategy sake, they just get the fluency thing. And I actually got into debate once because I posted about it. And I actually got a comment from a YouTuber that was saying like, I don't remember who was like the perfect method to learn a new language. And was like, no, you cannot do that in that amount of time. And this person was claiming, but me and my friends are doing it. And I'm like, okay, you and your friends, but what is your situation? Okay, so not everyone can replicate the same conditions as you live in, as you just live your life. And that really triggers me a lot, I have to say.
Yeah. I get confused sometimes and concerned at some things. I love seeing like one of my favorite YouTubers is Lindy Bodis. A lot of people probably know her if she's if you learn languages or whatever, she's one of the most popular language YouTubers and she is amazing.
LinkedIn is my bestie.
She's awesome. And she's literally so real on these YouTube channels. She agrees with us too. And she's posted before of like all of these YouTube polyglots of like fluent in 7 days. It's not real. And whenever she posts her stuff, she's just like, this is what I do. This is how it works for me. She's so real and she does it all with authenticity. That's the word I'm looking for. She's so authentic. And that's what I hope to create with our podcasts and just so we can talk about things of how they really are. Yeah, language learning is so fun and it's so great, but it takes work and it takes time and it can be frustrating.
Yeah, it can be dark as well because when you also mentally struggle, and at some point, I think that many people in the Telegram community struggle mentally. The thing is, when you show up authentically, it's when you see the difference in a person that is actually honest online and not honest online. And I actually have a story about this. So I have always been very open online about my struggles with Japanese, with language, with falling in and falling out of love with this language, especially because it was part of my academic studies. Talking about Japanese for me sometimes is difficult, especially because I should love it, but since I almost came to a point where I used to hate it.
Yeah.
So I got criticized telling about how you are gonna fall in love again with Japanese, how you want to create this perfect plan for studying, and then you fail every single time. And I'm like, yeah, thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's okay to fail. It's okay to struggle because life is uncertain, guys.
Mhm.
And now that I've been out of academia for 4 years and I enter into job market, I actually tried taking the JLPT to, get myself a little bit out of the rut,
Yeah.
but I failed, of
Me
course.
too. Me too.
And two is just I don't want. I don't know if I want to comment any further on and two JLPT exam.
N2 is wild. I've shown
And
my
two is
friends
freaking
things that are in
fun.
like N2 and N1, like my native Japanese friends, and they're like, I barely even know this kanji. I'm like, that's what I thought. I'm like, I'm never gonna use this. They talk about science and economics and all this craziness that I'm never gonna use because I'm in music industry and I no. So yeah, JLPT is wild. So that's gonna be a future episode also. So yeah. It's a mess.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So, are there some times that when you look online on seeing these internet polyglots and you just don't feel good enough to be in the space?
All the freaking time.
Me too. I get intimidated sometimes because they're like, I speak 13 languages and da 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 da. And I'm like, I would love that, but like in what way? Like what there's always more to it than just like, yeah, I speak 13 languages. But then when you actually get to know the people, they're just like, well, I mean, I really speak three of them, but then I've been dabbling in the other 10. And I'm like, okay, got it. So I could say that too. I could literally say I speak 13 languages. I literally would speak three of them and then be dabbling in the other 10. That's literally me. That's English, Japanese, Portuguese. That's my three. And I'm like, okay. And I'm just working on the others.
Yeah, I totally get it. I think that comparison online works when you want to have like a positive motivation,
Yeah,
but you have to be mentally strong to keep that as positive because it's not easy at all.
definitely.
Like in my opinion, like for me, my friend Ali from Ari no Yume. Paige. She is my like Japanese goddess. Okay.
Awesome.
She's awesome because her journey with Japanese is literally my dream. Okay. So to go straight from N5, work extremely hard, like work intensively, and get to N1 in I think it was like 6 years or something. But so
Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot. It took a lot of time, but to put in the work, of course, there are still elements that compared to me are different. But I was like, okay, maybe she had like a little advantage, like having a Japanese partner, then she had the chance to go to Japan. Of course, our situations are different, but what can I learn from her that she managed learning Japanese while having a full-time job? So I reached her out and say, "Hey, Annie, how's it going? Um, how do you actually manage? I saw some of your videos and I already got it, but I would like to have like a talk with you in session and understand better how I can manage my time." And she was super nice. So I think the comparison is useful when you try and get to people that are in a similar situation as yours and use them as positive reference.
Yeah.
So that's also the thing. Many have this very aggressive behavior and claim that they only do Japanese in their life. Basically, they almost never work, but they just have basically 18 hours study sessions. That's fake and toxic, okay, guys?
That's crazy.
Because that's crazy. Also, I'm very proud of saying that my progress is very slow. My Japanese may suck, but I have a life.
Yes. Yeah. That's
I have
it.
a life.
Yeah. And that's real. That's authentic. That's just like, hey, I'm doing what I can, but I got all this other stuff going on. So, but I'm still here. I'm not giving up.
Yeah, but besides that, people are acting like Japanese is or every single other language. But what happened to me mostly is with Japanese is that they
Same.
act as it's their deity basically.
Oh my god. Yeah.
They they don't have a family, they don't have a life, they don't have any other hobbies. Everything is just learning Japanese, guys. But are you living your life
Yeah.
anyway? Um, I have my house, I have my cats, I have a dog, I have a boyfriend, I sing, I'm trying to start again a band, I work, I have friends to hang out with, I read, because besides learning reading in Japanese, I read in Italian, I read in English, I read in all of the other languages, I listen to music, I enjoy playing Pokemon. I love content creation, so I spend time creating content. I also go to the gym because I freaking love Pilates. So,
Yeah.
guys, have a life, okay? That's my message. Mic drop.
Mic drop. I love it. Yes, that is a mic drop moment right there. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, I've seen the exact same thing online. I'm just like, yeah, I studied Japanese today for 10 hours, 12 hours, whatever. I'm like, no, you didn't. I assure you, you did not, because your brain can only take so much, and then you gotta have a life. That's just how it is. You gotta have a life. Like, I mean, I work two jobs. I'm a Japanese teacher. I do dance, I do all this other stuff, and I'm also, in physical therapy for my hip for dance too, so that takes a lot of effort and time and exhaustion there too.
Mm.
So I'm like, no, but yeah, if you make time for your language, that's great, but it's not possible to have 12, 14, 16 hour study sessions. That's just it's unrealistic. There are also other things that are going on in their lives that they don't talk about, because on social media we
Mm-hmm.
always try to talk about the good things, which I get,
Yeah.
but it's still difficult sometimes because you see what's on the surface and you get jealous and you get intimidated. But then just take a second with yourself and be like, well, that's not the whole story. There's more to it. Everybody has their own stuff that's going on that they're struggling with and that they're working through. But yeah, it's just a matter of prioritizing what you want and what's important to you and important to your languages.
Totally agree.
But last thing that I really want to talk about is prioritizing your mental health and just in languages in general, restarting after a break, like what you should do to get yourself back motivated once you do what you got to do. So sometimes, yeah, you need a break and you don't want to give it up entirely though. So how have you been able to come back from a break and keep your motivation and keep going?
Hmm. That's a very interesting question. because I took a lot of breaks, and technically I'm on a break again because I haven't touched my books for a very long time, almost 2 months. But you know what? I think it's mainly a mindset thing because once you are aware, you're conscious of your situation and what you can do, trying to rely more on immersion for me is what works the most. For example, I watch anime and I always listen to Japanese music. Always. I religiously listen every day to Japanese music, but because I approach Japanese first with music, or at least maybe not first, but it was like the strongest hook
Yeah.
to me with Japanese. And so that's it. That's the thing. Rely on immersion, rely on why you started. Okay, always keep in mind why you started. And I started because I freaking love the sound of the language that I acquired it through music. So, and like, for example, I have a playlist of my favorite Japanese songs and I listen to them when I need to spark up the motivation. So this is my biggest recommendation. Create your why, create your hook. Remember why you started learning any single language. Like we are talking about Japanese because this is the thing that we have in common. But always remember why you started and keep that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I kind of have a similar thing to you. I got hooked on Japanese because I love the sound of it in like Japanese dramas. Like I would watch, well, I'm gonna be real. I would watch Power Rangers, but then the Japanese version is called Super Sentai, and then I would go into Kamen Rider and like all this other stuff. That is my favorite part of Japanese for me because I'll watch Kamen Rider forever. And that's what got me hooked on Japanese. And if people have listened to my host background episode, I talk about that a little bit. But that's what got me going and connected to it. So it's really cool. So I'll like watch something like that or listen to some music or any of that. So we kind of have a similar method of like, this is what got me into it. This is what motivated me. So let's go back to it. I also keep a journal, a like journal entry journal, but it's kind of like a junk journal of just language stuff in general. And I'll doodle in it. I'll put a bunch of stickers in it. It's like really cute and I can flip through it throughout the years and it helps me get some motivation back, makes me happy. And I have some notes in there of just like, why did you start this? When did you start this? What's your goal here? What's your motivations? Like, I know a lot of people say like, remember your why, but I'm like, let's do some actual physical things that help me remember my why. So that's how I kind of changed it for myself. And I'm obsessed with stickers, so I made my journal and I can flip through it and write my goals, write my notes, write my wins, write
Mhm.
all that stuff. So it doesn't have to be like a physical journal if people want to do like a notes app on their phone or Good Notes iPad,
Of
whatever you want to
course.
do. But it's that having a starting point that you can always go back to and reference back to that will give you a little bit of motivation. That's always a good way to do it. So yeah, but the priority
Mhm.
here is keep going. Don't give up. If you need to take a break, definitely take a break and prioritize your mental health. Don't give up. Come back to it and remember why you love it. So yeah, well that will be it for this episode. Michelle, thank you for coming. Where can we find you?
Thank you, Tanner. You can always find me at my Instagram page with love.mishi, like Miscy, because it's my like Italianish nickname.
Love it.
Thank you so much. And thank you actually, Tanner, for having me. This was such a very fun chat. I could go on forever and we'll definitely have a proper like following in the After Dark series.
Well, yeah, I know that's right. Yes, I'm so excited when we get After Dark started up. So that'll be really fun. But yeah, I'd love to have you on again. And I love doing things like this with our guests. And we're definitely going to be seeing more soon on Nova. And thank you guys for listening. So come see us, come like, subscribe, all of that fun stuff on YouTube or on Spotify. And we're getting on Apple Podcasts soon. So working on that. But yeah, thank you guys for listening and I'll see you next time. Bye.